Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. We're going to do technical analysis of oil and gas. It came under pressure, at least trading this past session, and we'll take a look to see what's going on. Again, this is my financial opinion. Please don't use it as advice. Make sure that you're responsible for your own trades. And here we go. So let's jump in. This is oil and gas, and I'll give you my opinion. So here is light sweet crude. This is the West Texas Intermediate crude. We broke out to the upside. Usually what happens is we backtest or do a retest. And that's what we're doing. We came up, we're going to retest and touch back, and then probably head higher. We're heading higher because of structural deficits in the oil market, and inventories are being drawn down. The same thing's happening to natural gas. Now, natural gas has been on a tear, and it looks like we could potentially pull back here with this large down day today. Almost a bearish engulfing, not quite, but volatility is cranking up. And usually that happens at a short-term top. So volatility usually cranks up, and that's what we're seeing. So we're probably getting close to topping out at some point. Looking at a big picture view of XLE, which is an Energy Select Sector Spider Fund, we're trying to break out of this downtrend line. We haven't even broken out of the downtrend line on oil. That's how much value is left. So we're still in this downtrend line. We're right there trying to break through it. It may take some time to get through it. If we zoom in on the right-hand side here, you can see we're coming up on this high. We hit 55. We're coming back. We may break through it here at any point over the next couple days or week. So I'm watching it. But the big picture view, we break this line here, this downtrend line, that resistance ceases to exist, and we'll move higher. And what probably is going to happen is we'll break through it and then do a back test and then move higher. So it takes time. It kind of goes through this process. We've got SM Energy. SM Energy is looking fantastic. Yeah, it was down today. It may pull back a little bit more. Maybe not. We'll see what oil does tomorrow, but SM's been a very strong performer for me. CDEV, another one that it's coming up on resistance. It hit its head. It's pulling back a little bit. You know what? I got to let CDEV do, it's a unique stock. It's got to do its own thing. So if it needs to pull back and rest a little bit before moving higher, so be it. Another thing that I'm trying to look at here is I'm gonna kind of draw this in here. I'm gonna cut some heads here. We could be putting in. I'm just trying to see what we got here. Like a almost like a channel coming up, and maybe we can break this thing at some point. Something like that. We've got Callon Petroleum. It's doing the same thing as SM and CDEV. May need to rest a little bit before breaking and making new 52-week highs. But that one looks all right. Recaf. I have a feeling this is just going to trade sideways for a little while until we get the 2D seismic results, which is scheduled for the end of October. So we could have a very strong November depending on what gets released. Looking at Tellurian, Tellurian's pulling back. We have two bearish engulfing patterns here, which means we're usually going to head lower, especially with this black candlestick there. Looking at kind of the short term, we could head back to this line to do a retest. That's probably all it's doing, retest and then move on up. Grand Tier Energy, let's throw this in here. It's been on a tear recently. We broke through this line there. That's your pattern. Broke to the upside, and maybe we pull back and rest a little bit before moving on up. But it looks good. Just hold on, everybody. Don't get scared of the movements. Focus on the patterns that we're breaking. This is a big pattern. It probably comes up underneath here, and then the projected move would be far higher than where it's at. So just let it go. Contango Oil and Gas came into a little bit of resistance. It's a little bit of a sell-off, but we broke the downtrend line, so that one looks good. Crew Energy, this thing's been incredibly strong. A little bit of a down day today. Yeah, with a little wick at the bottom. Just ride it, guys. Ride it. Don't worry about Sandridge could potentially pull back here. It could even pull back to the 50-day. But don't be afraid. Just ride it if you're in it. And if we see a turning point at some point, maybe add a little bit more in. Comstock's had a massive move from $5 all the way to over $10. It's a 100% move. So we could see a pullback here at any point. Tetra Technologies looks like it's getting a little bit tired here. We might see some more sideways action. Helix Energy Solutions, this is another energy service company, kind of broke out of here. A little bit of sideways action. It's probably just going to move sideways for a little bit. Same with Rig, Transocean, more sideways action. And that's what I've got for today. Oil's been incredibly strong. It looks like we're going to pull back just a little bit, do a little bit of a retest, and then after that, hopefully we can bounce and move on higher still. We have had some pretty big moves, and we are coming along some downtrends on some of these patterns. It may take some time to break through it. And now is not the time to be impatient. If you've been on the channel, you've been following the channel a little bit, I'm extremely patient. So I get invested, I hold on to my shares. You're not going to get my shares. I'm sorry. Whoever you are, if you want my shares, you're not getting them. And if we see stuff pull back and we hit support lines and stuff like that, and it does retests, I usually add in a little bit. It depends on what company, depends on where it is. Would I still add into some of these companies? For sure I would. I added into Recaf recently. I'm going to continue to add into it if it's down there and it's got some good support, which I think it does. Would I be adding into something like an SD or a Comstock? I'd probably wait. I'd wait for it to pull back to more of a normal level. Usually when things rocket that fast, they like to pull back, and then I'll buy it when it's down. We get a pattern developed, and it's ready to go higher. So I'm patient. I wait for my entry points, and some of these I didn't put Northern Oil and Gas in here and whatnot, but they're coming back and doing retests just like the other ones. In Crescent Point, they're retesting. So I would wait to the retest area, and then maybe I'd start looking to add in. There's other areas that are also of good value. I know you guys are maybe focused on oil, but precious metals, if they can start breaking their downtrends, that would probably be a sector I'd be looking at, because that is really low right now. If you guys like the content, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.